Hey, hey, ladies.
Hi, how's everyone?
How y'all doing? Oh, I'm getting a lot of kickback.
Oh, I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh, that. How did you know that was you? Okay,
Was it
welcome.
really?
Welcome to Wealthy and Worthy Wednesday. Look, so glad to have the crew back today. Last week was fire. And based on that, we are having a conversation to last week because one of the clips that was shared about um, being ready got a lot of engagement. and and folks were feeling some kind of way. And over on TikTok, you get the notifications. I got like a ton of notifications that it was saved, it was favorited, it was reshared. So I said, okay, this is a topic we got to double tap on. So that is what brings us to the discussion today, right? Because, right, we know, and we have been guilty of it, I have been guilty of it, of saying, I'm just not quite ready. Or when I'm ready, right? About a variety of things. I've said it about starting businesses. I've said it about applying for promotions or applying for a specific type of job. About leaving a job, right? Before I fired my 9 to 5, it was like, when I'm ready, I'll know when I'm ready because this, right? You may have found yourself saying it when it's time to speak up for yourself. Maybe when you know that it's time to leave that relationship or leave that friendship or write that book, right? Or do the thing, right? It could even be something as simple of you hesitating or shrinking back when it's time to say yes to the life that you know you're meant to live, right? And this comes up a lot. This comes up a lot with our high achieving women, right? Because you'll have that feeling, that gumption, that prompt that says like there's more, and then there's this thing that like stops you. You're like, I'm not quite ready. I'm not quite ready, right? Even if you don't say it out loud, you may be saying it in your head, or your hesitation or your shrinking back is like communicating, I'm not quite ready, right? And so, what we want to have a conversation about, right, is that the term I'm not ready actually is code for something else, right? It often is code for I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I might fail. I'm afraid that I may get it wrong. I may even be afraid of succeeding in a different way or in a different environment, right? I may even be afraid of what people may think. Or we talk about this a lot in our Wealthy and Worthy Wednesday discussions. You may be afraid of being seen trying. And that can be a really difficult thing for high accomplished, highly ambitious, highly competent women, specifically Black women, right? To be seen trying, right? And being seen takes courage, right? And so as we think about, all of those fears kind of wrapped into this like cute, socially acceptable phrase of I'm not quite ready, or when I'm ready, right? The problem that we want to point out for you today is that every time you say it, you are postponing the life you're asking God for. And so today's conversation isn't really about readiness at all, it's about courage, which is what Jeannie is going to be unpacking for us this August at the Wealthy and Worthy Mastermind. We are going to be talking about how to get the courage, right, to move past that. And so if you have not gotten your tickets yet, make sure you head on over to wealthyworthy.org and grab your tickets because we still have a few spots left. Our elite tickets are almost sold out. So listen, go do the thing. All right. So today's conversation is about courage because I have learned in years, right, and in my years doing this work, and it has been something now that I wish someone would have told me sooner, And that is, being ready is not a destination, it is a decision. And so today we're gonna double tap on that today. All right, we gonna get into it with the ladies, and we're gonna hear their thoughts and their experience working with highly accomplished, highly ambitious women in different sectors. And so we just gonna talk about it. We're gonna open up the conversation. We invite y'all to engage with us in the chat. Y'all be lighting up the chat in the combos. So make sure you're engaging with us today. All right, drop us a line. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I see my Instagram peeps. They always represent. So, ladies, when you hear someone say, or even maybe you yourself, when you kind of find yourself saying, I'm just not quite ready, what do you think, or what have you seen that is actually being communicated? Whoever wants to take it first can jump on in.
I'll start.
Let's do it.
So for me, it goes exactly to what you said. If I say I'm not ready, it is fear, right? So I think about whenever I first started my business, which is now 10 years ago, I started it during a time that I had been laid off my full-time job. And so sounds crazy, right? I started a recruiting agency during a time where I had no job at all. But I'm going to tell you, Dr. Tiana, I actually knew that I was supposed to quit that job months before I was laid off. But I kept saying, I'm not ready. My finances are in order. I don't have the perfect plan yet. And the funny thing about God is he does not care if you're ready or not. If you don't take the leap, he will push you. And so I never lie to people. I don't have a glamorous story about starting a business. I'm like, no, God forced me into entrepreneurship, and we've been riding ever since. And so I say abandon the whole thought of being ready, because it's like the moment you say I'm not ready, God is like, okay, push, and you're out into the ocean, like, and you better learn how to swim and swim fast. So
I love that. I love that. I love that. I can appreciate, right? I can appreciate the honesty, Stephanie, for real, because I think for many of us, that wasn't my story in entrepreneurship, but it absolutely is my husband's story. Like, he is like a forced entrepreneur, and he will tell anybody that. Like, he's like, I don't love this. You know, he's like, I'm doing it, it's working, but I don't love it. Like,
yeah, no, we don't just sign up for this. Not all of us. Like, there are some people out there who sign up for it, but there are a lot of us who are just like, you know what? No, like, we can't find jobs. We had to be pushed in, had to make money, had to pay the bills, and we're here now, and it's been working. But
right.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Okay, Jeannie or Dr. J, what do y'all? I know y'all are chosen entrepreneurs.
Sure,
So.
we are. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely a chosen entrepreneur here. And, I think yes, absolutely. This occurrence of I'm not ready. Yes, absolutely. And I don't know that it was ever in the face of fear.
Okay.
In that, I've come from the extremely, extremely, extremely humble beginnings, raised by a single mom who raised three girls on $19,000 a year. So the prospect of being broke and not succeeding in that way monetarily, it really isn't scary to me. It's not a big fear. But I am one who struggles with uncertainty and struggles with lack of structure. I am not the bones. I am not the outline by any means. I'm the heart of everything, which means I'm quite whimsical. I'm quite like, I'll do it when I feel good about it, when it feels amazing for me to do. That's when I'll get to it. When I'm when I feel creatively sparked to do it, that's when it'll get done. And that in entrepreneurship is really difficult. You end up in a lot of uncertainty. You end up in, and I would have these sort of idealized future understandings about what I wanted. That in itself as well is like, I want it to look this way, I want it to be this way. Okay, well then how do I create the structure that will support me inside of that? I'm not sure that I can. I'm not sure that I have the tools. And so it's, let me get the training in it. Let me get certified in this. Let me make sure I'm partnered with this person. Let me, so it becomes all of these things that I've got to do before I actually get to doing of the do. And
Yeah.
I learned I can't work that way. And I learned that
Yeah.
so much from you, Dr. T, obviously, because we work together quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's like when I have something like, you're like, Jeannie, you have to put it out. Like, I've seen what you just put it out. Please, my dear, I love you so much. Put it out, please. You've created like 20 things. Just put it out and let it do what it's gonna do, and don't worry about any of it, like whether it's perfect or not. Just if it's done, just let it be done, and
Yeah.
then you can revamp it however you want. Get the feedback from it, and I think that's
Right.
really helped me in my life to be able to do that. To like working through the uncertainty is I'm never going to be certain. The decision is the certainty. The impulse that I'm getting means I'm ready, and
Yeah.
so put out the work and see what it does, and then
Mhm.
hone it from there. But yeah,
I
I get it.
love
It's a lot of
that.
pressure. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much because, okay, one, you made me think of something that a mentor told me years ago. She said to me, Tiana, um, you only have to be sure when you make the decision. She said, you're going to waver before and you're going to waver after. And she's like, but you only need to be sure in that moment when you make the decision. And it has freed me so much in my career, in my life, right? To like be like, no, as long as I can be decisive and trust that I can handle the fallout, no matter which way it goes, right? Like that is where the power is. So I love that. And the other thing that I love so much is that when we are able to admit and acknowledge like where we operate, not even in a shame or a guilt lens, but just like, this is just how I operate, it makes it so much easier for us to partner and recognize like why we need each other, right? Because
Yes.
like we've partnered for, what has it been, maybe 6 to 8 years or
Six
so
to 8 years. Yeah. Like,
in business, right? We've been locked in since we've been like 18, but as far as business, it's been like 6 to 8 years. But you're right. It's like I am the structure. That's how my mind just works naturally. I don't have to try. It's just there, right? But it works so smooth with us because it's like I don't really trip about like how you are, how you show up. I'm just like, all right, Jay, look, this is the bottom line. Okay, you can be whimsical and do all the things, but this is what I need. Okay, and you're like, bet I can deliver. You know?
so deeply supportive. No, because I need it. I need for someone to say, I need this by this time, and I will get it to you. I'm a
You
girly
do,
on a
yeah,
deadline. I get it
yeah,
to you. I will get you to work. But it's if I'm
yeah.
left to be my, well, listen, we'll be all heart floating all over the place. My goodness. And then you're like, this is super fun. I'm like, yeah. And we got to get some things done. I live in this world of like persistent fantasy that I love so much that I'm still in touch with that part of myself. I think
Yeah.
many women lose it, and I just never did. I've always been sort of in that space. And when you begin, you dissolve that. When you begin inside of entrepreneurship, you dissolve to some degree the fantasy, and the reality kicks in, and it can hit you very hard. And when
Yeah.
you don't have community that lets you know, hey, listen, this is a part of process. You can still live in that space. You can keep
Totally.
creating, but put it out, get the feedback, root yourself into reality so you know what's going on, and then continue to progress and work from there. It's important to understand yourself in
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Dr. J, what you got? What you seeing? What's happening in your world, or what's happening maybe with your clients when someone's staying stuck in that indecision for a long period of time?
Yeah, and certainly I could put that in a health context, is that when patients come to my practice, initially they're really excited because they have all these health goals. But when we first get into it, they're like, whoa. I've never really had to think about my health in this way. I really have to give this intentional thought because, we give intentional thought to our careers, our businesses. We may have tactical measures and tactical steps, standard operating procedures that we go by. And we don't recognize that we also need to apply that same with our health, right? There are these
Mm,
standards of health, right? Not your
yeah.
SOP, but your SOH
Yes.
that you need to be able to function well, right?
Yep.
And so it's become so easy because the patients that I work with, they are very high achieving. It's very easy for them to go the tactical route within their business and career. But when they recognize that they have to also apply that same energy to their health, they're like, oh, wait, I don't have enough brain capacity for all of it. I'm like, well, this is why we're here. Because we're teaching you how to grow your capacity for the
Right.
thing that's going to sustain you in your
Literally.
career and your business and the rest of your life. Okay. And
Mhm.
so they don't
Yep.
recognize, in the beginning that it's about, growing our capacity to learn how to develop standards of health for ourselves and integrating that within our business and career, right? And so
Yeah.
if you are up, working late on the laptop, sending emails, we have to recognize, okay, there needs to be a cutoff time and there needs to be boundaries set around your work. And that can be a hard conversation to have. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I do. This is my work. This is my identity. I work really hard. And
Mm.
so, it's helping people develop capacity to build their standard operating procedures of their health.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question
Okay.
real quick, Dr. Tiana?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. J, like I suffer from decision fatigue, right? And so I remember this was like a few months ago because I struggle with migraines, and I was talking to Jeannie and Dr. Tiana about it. And so they were telling me all these different things to look into, and I'm taking notes, and I know I need to do all these things, but I don't even know where to begin. And so then I'm just like, well, I'll just put it on the back burner because there are too many options. So like whenever I come see someone like you, Dr. J, you're giving so much information about my overall physical wellness or a wellness plan. I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't even know how to make a decision because it's so much information at one time. So how do we make a decision?
I love that
That is
question.
really, that's a great question. Well, I think the first thing is I always like to look at the whole forest, right? So number one, I see, okay, how they're operating. So for example, if you have a woman, she is, she has a busy career or a busy business, I help her strategize, okay, what are some ways to build in some, health parameters. So for example, let's say, this person is a morning person. They like to, they feel more refreshed in the morning, and that is when they have more cognitive capacity. All right.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, can you use that time to get some movement in? Whether you walk for 10 minutes, whether you do 10 squats while you before you brush your teeth. If they work from home, whether you do 10 squats before you sit at your desk, right? And
Mhm.
so it's understanding where they are and then using their environment to show them, okay, this is where you can add this in, right? Where it doesn't become this whole loaded, added thing.
Mm.
It's already part of what they're already doing,
Love
right?
that.
And so if
Mhm.
you're going to let's say um um let's say you have a meeting, right? That at 12, can you walk and take the meeting? Do you have to show your face on camera? Can you
I do it
walk to
all the
the
time.
meeting? Right?
Mhm.
Okay, so that
Mhm.
that is that is that is one example. Or another example is let's say you do have children, right? and you're inundated with work and you feel like, oh, I don't have enough time to be with my children, can you also bring your children part of the workout routine? Like, let's say you don't use a weight. What if you use your
Baby.
daughter or whatever son
Mhm.
to do a shoulder press? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or a weighted
Mhm.
squat, right? And so that's
Mhm.
another way that you can interact with your child, right? But you're also doing something good for you.
Yeah, I love that. A really good resource for that, Stephanie, is Atomic Habits. And there's actually a framework built around it. It's called habit stacking, right? And so it's basically exactly what Dr. J described. It's like you're already using micro moments in that you already do, and you're just adding that capacity on top of it so it doesn't feel like a major lift, right? So it's like, yeah, taking those things in pieces.
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. That's a fantastic question. And that's probably a question that many of our folks in our community have. I know it's something that comes up a lot lately for me, even in teaching trading, in teaching stocks. There's so much overwhelm. It's just like, I don't even know where to begin. And I'm like, okay, friend, come on in. Like, it's like I'm gonna break it down for you, like literally piece by piece. But you know what's so funny, Stephanie? It's like I empathize with the decision fatigue and like just seeing so much. But what I'm finding is happening, and I just have to chuckle because every session I'm in, every class I'm in, every mentorship group I run, us A type high achievers, they always stop me at some point and they say, okay, but what's next? And I'm like, okay, like I'm like, okay, y'all, like we I'm here breaking this down for you. I need you to stay in the step that you're in. Like you gotta focus. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been saying you overwhelmed. I'm breaking it down for you, and now you asking me, well, what's next? What's the next program? What's the next? And I'm like, we haven't even gone there yet. You don't even know this
Yeah.
yet.
You know, the other thing is also important is also determining or identifying like what is contributing to the overwhelm, right?
Mm.
Because for example, sleep is a big thing. I feel like sleep is so underrated.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
because people are just like, we're working, and I'll get there, I'll get to sleep when I can. But when you sleep, you are also that you're also helping to restore creativity and memory. When you
Mm.
move, also with movement
Yeah.
and exercise, that helps to build new neuronal connections. And so, with implementing, those lifestyle habits, even if it's just for 5 minutes, that can give you the creativity that you need to think about, okay, how else can I do this? Because if you just like, I'm
Yeah.
overwhelmed and
Good.
overwhelmed, and you're not thinking, okay, what is contributing to the overwhelm, then you're going to stay in that overwhelmed state, and you're not going to develop the creativity that you need to think of how else this can look like for you.
Love
And
that.
so that's also really, really important, because I think that sometimes women just they think that there's a way of like being healthy, like I have to go to the gym and I have to do yoga and Pilates. But no, it's the season of life
Mm.
doesn't allow you to be at these places. Then we have to be creative and think about, okay, how else can this work for me?
That's
And
so
let it be
good.
okay. Your 5 minutes is okay.
Oh, come
Absolutely. I
on.
love that. I
Come
love
on.
that.
Five
I
minutes.
love
Yes.
exactly the 5 minutes. And I love that you broke that down in speaking to the physiological as well. I don't know that sleep is underrated. I think people just deprioritize it. Actually, I mean, there's so much that tells us today that has been telling us for the past 10 years, you need to get rest. That rest is restoration for the brain, for the mind, for the spirit, for the soul,
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah.
It needs to be
Yeah.
prioritized. But people deprioritize it for the sake of I have this to do and I can sacrifice this as this time. And then they never get back to creating a routine that further respects the fact that restoration is key. And, what you talk about with the overwhelm from a psychological perspective, it's about thinking that you've got to complete the entire task thinking that the beginning and starting means I've got to get this all done. This is what I've got to get all done. And why people, and especially people, like Dr. Tiana, are so valuable, I think, especially like I said, for more whimsical people like me, is because you remind me there are small steps to getting there. And all you got to do is the next right step. And I'm like in the clouds, like,
Good. Okay.
inside of like the larger picture in some way, living there, being like, okay, I've got to jump from the reality that I'm in now to that fantasy world. Meanwhile, there are all these steps to get there that are the right next steps, that are beautiful, growing next steps, and I can't see them, or my brain doesn't conceptualize in that way. Or, like Stephanie said, I get this decision fatigue. So if I'm putting in too many steps, then I'm making way too many decisions, and that's not going to work for
Yeah.
me. So I've got to palette something maybe that's a bit broader instead of having 6, 7, 10 steps, that would work for someone who needs those increments to touch base and to make the vision plain and to support the structure. I don't need that. I need like 3 steps, and I need them to be like super concrete, and I need them to be like, kind of maybe something I stew about, but not something that I maintain in for too long so that it becomes a part of delay. So, this the self-awareness in starting is invaluable.
I love
It's
that.
invaluable. You start to get to know yourself
that.
when you begin.
Absolutely.
No, for real. For real. I feel like mine has supercharged in the last 2 months, just in the last 2 months alone. Like, this new community is like, my mind is blown. Like, I'm just like, all right, I'm showing up. I didn't feel ready, but I'm like, I guess I'm ready. Like, it's happening. I'm like, this is where we're at. So, okay. So on that note though, right? What life has been teaching me lately, right, is that sometimes waiting, like sometimes the sneaky thing about waiting, or I'm just not ready, is that it feels responsible, right? And it sometimes feels like wisdom, right? It's like I'm being measured. I'm taking my favorite one is like calculated risk, right? Like I'm being discerning about this thing, right? But there comes a point though when the waiting or the procrastination or the not ready becomes avoidance. And so I'd love to hear from you, Jeannie, as a therapist. How do we know the difference? How do we know the difference?
Oh, this is the most wonderful question because because there is such a it's a thoughtful and rational way of showing up in life, right? This idea that like, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to ensure that I've examined all the ways that essentially these things could fail, that essentially there could be huge consequences to whatever it is that I'm doing. And that's sort of the smart thing in quelling my own uncertainty before acting. And that's how it's seen, right? That I'm doing the smart thing, but actually that is the epitome of avoidance, right? It's avoidance presented in more acceptable language. A genuine calculated risk is gathering enough information and considering, some of the likely consequences, identifying maybe some safeguards to some degree, and then making a decision knowing there will be remaining uncertainty. The person who's saying, I'm just taking calculated risk they're asking for more opinions, maybe they're asking for a credentialed person to step in and give some form of a legitimate, I want to say, like, opinion of some sort, where the person who's inside of these avoidant patterns is the person who you hear, they always ask this this question of Lord, I need a sign. I need a, have you ever heard that? I need a
Not even going there.
Come on!
Am I hurting somebody's feelings right now? Give me a sign. Just give me, I just need one sign from the or the universe. I need one sign from the universe that I'm on the right track. Or I need one more guarantee that'll tell me that that is the right answer, or sort of one more period to like emotionally prepare for what could come. One more, let me just get one more credential on the wall before I take the leap. That's the avoidance. That's how you distinguish it. Are you like, there's like, are you in this mindset of like, yes, I weigh them. They're gonna be risk. And I might bump my noggin like really bad. Like I might it be real bad out here sometimes when we're making like these decisions. But you can watch as the goal shifts from reducing sort of unnecessary risks to just like making discomfort disappear.
Okay.
That's how you can distinguish the two. If
Okay.
we're like, I don't want to feel uncomfortable, I don't want it to come with stress. I don't want it to come with people in my life are going to see me inside of a different version of myself, like my child or my partner or my friends are going to watch me sort of struggle in these things. And if I'm going to do any of that stuff, then I have to do it with the utmost certifications and the utmost, and everything's got to align. Is avoidance.
Wow. My favorite one that I see with my clients, if you set them on fire when I say it too, is procrastination. Girl, baby, listen, let me tell you, I love Jesus and I talk to him every day, okay? But when these ladies be on my phone and be talking about something, I need to pray about it, I be like, who do you think sent you to me? Like, why are you here?
Why are you here? Is
like,
wild.
I'm just like, it is not a coincidence, right? That like so you really think that you coincidentally saw me on the internet, you coincidentally clicked my link, you coincidentally booked a sales call with me, you get on the call with me asking about my program, and then I tell you what it involves, and then you say, I need to pray about this. And I'm like, what just happened? Like
what just happened? What just happened is the emotional discomfort kicked in of doing the next thing, and it shifted where they were. And so now we're inside of this place of like, I need more evidence that is going to help me make the decision. It's like you really, if you're okay, so if we're asking maybe some questions even that we could ask ourselves, if we're like, we want to expose avoidance, right?
Okay.
Like you got to ask yourself, what specific risk am I calculating exactly? What evidence is enough to make a decision? Like you really have to have a line.
Okay.
Have I set a deadline for making the decision? Because sometimes I need to say to myself, okay, you're not making this, you're all over the place. You got a day, sister. Like that's what you have. You have a day and you got to go. You pull it either way. Let it go. Don't do it, whatever, but you got to do it. Am I gathering information or just like repeatedly reviewing the same fears over and over and over again? That is avoidance. That is what exposes avoidance. Those types of very probative questions that help us to understand, like, I really am just inside of like wanting to make the safe option and wanting to have an outcome occur. And so I'm tied to the outcome versus tied to, in some ways, process as well. Like I'm very guilty of that at times, even as a clinician. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I need my patients to see this amount of change, and then I'll feel comfortable even instituting a new intervention. Where recently I'm like, no, we're shifting. You said you wanted to see this. It's been 3 months, and I've seen like maybe a twinkle of what you're looking to see. It means we got to try something else. Like we're shifting, and that's it. And it's very uncomfortable.
I like that,
but it is the reality.
I love that. Courage. Come on, courage. That's courage right there. That's so good. I love that you presented us with questions to ask ourselves to help us understand if we're kind of getting caught in that loop of avoidance. Because the thing is, if we don't acknowledge it and recognize it even, right, it's hard to hit a target you can't see. So if you don't see that that's what's happening, you're just going to keep running yourself crazy. All right. So, that's so good. Okay. So let's shift a little bit, right? So as I think about, right, some of the biggest shifts that have happened in my life just around that whole thing of like not wanting to avoid discomfort and just being able to just trust life and the process as it comes, what I realized is that confidence does not come, and I know, and this gonna hurt y'all feelings a little bit, okay? Confidence does not come before action, okay? People are like, oh, I'm just building the confidence. I need more confidence. And I'm like, friend, the confidence actually comes because you do the thing, right? And so when you say you want to do the thing and you do the thing, no matter how it turns out, you are making deposits of trust, self-trust. You're telling yourself, I can trust myself, right? To do the thing. When you don't do that, you're then telling yourself, I can't trust myself to do the thing. Like even with Dr. J's example, right? Like even if you say, all right, bet I can't make it to the gym, but tomorrow before my meeting, I'm going to do my 10 squats before I sit my butt down in that desk, right? And you get up and you know you're supposed to do them 10 squats and you just sit down at that desk and you start working, another deposit. I can't trust myself, right? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So even in those small moments, you're literally taking a withdrawal from that self-trust by saying, I just can't show up for myself. I can't show up for myself. And I continue to show myself that I can't show up for myself, right? That is a crappy place to be, right? It's a crappy place to be. And we don't want that for ourselves or for any of you, right? Watching this replay. So as you all think about that, right? How have you seen, or how maybe even have you yourself began to like learn how to trust yourself to move forward before you feel completely ready? Let's kick it back to you, Stephanie. When you think about the most successful leader, or even yourself and your success as being an entrepreneur for a decade, okay, girl, congratulations on that. BB,
I made it.
Okay, that's a massive milestone. What separates women who move forward from the ones who just keep waiting? What do you see?
I think it goes back to what you said at the beginning, is understanding that it's not a destination, it's a decision. And let's think about the job market, right? If you are a highly successful woman, you've probably been on lots of interviews and you've probably had chances where you had multiple jobs that you could say yes or no to. And what I found is when women have a lot of offers on the table, they have to go back and forth with their friends and their mentors. Which one should I pick? Which one? They never make a decision themselves. So they start outsourcing decisions in a lot of ways. And so what I found is that the reason why women do that, and myself included, is to your point, because we don't trust ourselves to make the right decisions because we have evidence that we've made the wrong decision in the past. And so I think a lot of it is we're living in the past and we don't want to revisit those same errors because we know as we get older, bad decisions become more expensive. And so for me, I think that once you have enough information, it does just go back to just trusting yourself to say, you know what, I got to either make a left or a right, and I got to do it now. And whatever happens, even if it is a mistake, I can learn again and just move forward and just not make that decision again. And so I think you nailed it. It's all about trusting yourself and not living in the past and think that, you know, one bad decision is going to be catastrophic to your life.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Dr. J or Jeannie, what y'all got?
I think it comes back to honestly our thoughts, because
Okay.
our thoughts are so sneaky. And the thing is, like, you'll have one thought and then it starts spiraling to like 10 others. And so you're trying to figure out, okay, like, why can't I move forward again? Right?
Right. I've been there.
That has faced me many times in entrepreneurship, right? Because like when I hesitated to make a decision or move forward, I had to recognize what was the thought that was holding me back. And that one thought that always haunted me was like, I'm not enough. Like, I can't do this. There are people who are, you know, who are much better than me, who they're much smarter than me, and they're able to establish, you know, private practices, or I'm in this town and I don't know anybody, and like, who's gonna want to come see me? And I'm telling, like, and then it just keeps on going on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, you know, keeping track of the thoughts in my mind, like I have to really physically put them down in paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then personally, I create biblical antidotes for my thoughts.
Love that.
And so, like for example, if I'm anxious about something, okay, be anxious for nothing, and so and then I meditate on that. It's not just like me reciting scripture, but I'm actually like breaking down every part of the biblical verse, and relating it back to me. Okay, like what does this say about me and this thought that is, causing me anxiety right now about this
Mm-hmm.
one decision that I feel entrapped to make. And so I think it's, really taking hold of all these
Mm-hmm.
multiple thoughts that because then you start spiraling and it's just like, oh, what's happening? And I know,
Yeah.
Gina, you can probably speak way better to that than
Yeah.
I can. But
No,
for me, that has
yeah.
been my process.
I
Yeah,
love it.
that's so
I think,
good. That's so
yeah,
good.
it's incredible, and and I just let me, yeah, I'll place it for you. Thank you for handing that off to me. I'll place it for you, ladies. What Dr. J is describing is actually a core belief. The
Mm.
core belief is I'm not enough, right? And
Mm.
then what she starts doing inside of this core belief that maybe exists in some of the dynamics that she um I say earned, because those are the tiger stripes, right? The worst type of work is like the stuff
Gotcha.
we earn from those younger dynamics, from those
Gotcha.
younger interactions with family, with friends, with how our mothers acted, how our fathers acted, things of that sort. The core belief is I'm not enough. And so what we do is when we that core belief comes to pass is we have all of these thoughts that are attached to the core belief. So we start looking for the evidence in those thoughts, like this person's better than me and they show up more organized than I do.
Mm.
And this situation that happened 2 years ago where I fell on my face is proof. There it is, right in front of me. Not enough because
Mhm.
listen, you put your heart out there or you did your best in it, but it didn't go well. Dr. J, you're a
Mhm.
doctor. So the entire medical school process is like an entire evaluative
Hazing.
existence where they're like
Girl, that's
consistently
exactly what it
telling
is. She
you
said it. Kiana said
you are
hazing.
not enough. Like work
Yeah.
harder,
Yeah.
don't sleep,
It's a
and
hazing. Yeah, for
I
real.
mean, listen,
Yes.
Yeah.
they've grown, they're continuing to grow. That's all I can say about that. I'm not trying to take on that entire community. I love the docs. I'm with them. But yes, it's a very difficult space, and so that core belief where we're looking, and so we need to, in all things, challenge that core belief.
Mm.
I am enough. And when I say I am enough, my brain goes, okay, I can find that evidence. Oh, my friends pour into me in this way. Oh, you know what? I'm inside of my job doing this. Oh, you know what? I wake up and the thoughts that come to me, it just unacted upon are those of love and care and kindness for
Mm.
myself and the humanity around me, right? This has
Love
nothing to do
that.
with me doing. This is my
Yeah.
being. It is
Yeah.
enough.
I love
So
that.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
That's
But
beautiful.
it's yeah,
It's
it's a
beautiful.
difficult thing that we live inside of. Um, and we demand that. And this is what I think my patients are learning from me, and I've learned in my own journey. And it's a difficult thing to accept, but it's that this life is long if we are blessed in that way, or it
Mhm.
is short if we are blessed in that way, both equally blessed.
Mhm.
And there is not a day when you're going to wake up certain that you are enough. There is not a day that you are going to wake up where you're going to it finally happened for me. That's what I thought. I
Mm.
worked my life to get to that place. I
Mm.
chased so many things in so
Mhm.
many places to be like, I'm going to
Mhm.
wake up and then all of a sudden, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to say,
I'm gonna feel
you're
worthy.
it. You're it.
Yeah.
You're worthy. You are.
Yeah.
Yes, it finally clicked for me and everything falls into place. And no, this is
Yeah.
an everyday thing, day by
Yeah.
day. That's the journey. That's the
Mhm.
gift. Is there's and not in every second of every day am I going to be happy? Am I going to, be close to this shifted mindset that I know who I am and I know what I want? The uncertainty is the human journey. Embracing the humanity means understanding how can I support myself as these fluctuations happen for me, which are a part of my humanity. Because anything outside of fluctuation, when we think of the heart and the rhythmic nature of the heart, if we're like this, we
Right.
are not alive.
To your
So
humanity. Yeah.
remember
Wow.
that that's
Oh,
the
that's so
cost. My
good.
humanity comes at a
Oh,
cost, and
that's
it
so
is.
good.
There's no day I'm waking up and I just know.
Oh,
No.
that's so good.
Some
The
days I'll feel
way,
more certain.
mm,
Yeah.
that's good. That's a
Some days
word.
I'm
All
not.
right. Come on. That's a word. We gon' all right. Look, we about to round it out now because that was beautiful. We don't even need to add another topic on top of that. So listen, we gonna close with this, right? As we always do, we send our love letters out to our amazing women who are watching with us live now or watching back on the replay because our women are busy, right? Um, and I want us to be speaking to the woman who knows exactly what she wants. She has the talent, she has the education, she has all the degrees, all the accolades, right? The experience. But something in her, or maybe she's even saying it out loud, right? Like, I'm just not ready. I can't quite do that yet. What is the one thing that you want her to remember the next time she hears herself say those things?
So I would, so I have a mentor, and I would echo the same words from my mentor, and she always says, "Make the decision, then make the decision right." Right? So you make the
I
decision and
love
you
that.
have all this apprehensiveness around the decision, but guess what? You get to decide if it's right. I get to decide it's the right decision. I get to decide if it's right. Right now, it's right.
I know that's
I made it and it's right. And if there's some evidence that produces itself that it's not right, guess what? I get to make another decision and make it right.
I know that's right. Oh, come on. That might be the only final thought today. Okay.
I love it.
I love that
Love it.
so much. That's what we ended on today, y'all. Listen, you have a choice. That is the point, right? That is the point. And not deciding is still a decision. That's what we want y'all to realize, right? So on that, right, we want y'all to be coming and joining us in a month. Y'all got a month. Grab y'all seats, wealthyworthy.org. We about to gather the community, because these gems, listen, it's gonna hit a little different in person. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's gonna hit a little different. So you want to be in the room for that. All right, wealthyworthy.org. Make sure you go grab your tickets. And listen, as we wrap up today's discussion, right? I want to be clear, okay, that it is not about pretending that the fear doesn't exist or the anxiety doesn't exist or the uncertainty doesn't exist. That is not what we're talking about. We are acknowledging that fear is normal, growth is uncomfortable, yet we are acknowledging, as Jeannie said, that it's part of our humanity. It is part of living and learning and walking this earth as human beings, right? And so every meaningful decision that I personally have ever made came with uncertainty, right? The difference was not that I just, like Jeannie said, I didn't wake up one day and just feel ready. I've arrived, right? No, it does not work that way, right? The difference is that I decided not to let not ready make my decisions for me. I just decided I wasn't doing it anymore, right? Because every time you choose courage, you feel a little bit more ready. It's like that consistency compounds, right? Every time you show up a little more courageous. And I'll give y'all a practical example. When I first realized that I was in this kind of trap and mindset of the not ready, hesitating, shrinking, it's been a long time ago now, maybe about a decade ago. But I started with picking an item off of a menu when I would go out to eat. And I would just literally tell myself before I went to the restaurant, I would be like, listen, you're not going to be milling over this over this menu a million times and asking your husband what he thinks and asking your friend what they ordering. No, you're going to go in, you're going to look at the menu, you're going to pick 3 things that you like or think you might like. And then by the time that server comes, you picking one. Okay. That's literally what I did to myself. Right. And over the years, like even I laugh about it now, but that's literally how I started, because to Stephanie's point, it did feel very overwhelming to feel like I had to change because I thought it was my personality. So I was like, man, it feels like a lot to just change my whole personality, you know? So I was like, okay, where can I start small? And what little things can I do to make this deposit, right? Listen, baby, now we decade into this thing, and now it's just like, I'm here. What? I'm ready. Like, so I say all that to say, start small, okay? You don't have to start the menu, but figure out where you want to start to be decisive, to just make the decision, okay? Because you build that tolerance, you build, like Dr. J said, that capacity, right? To handle if the food comes and you don't like it. What you gonna do? You gonna have the hard conversation? Like you're gonna ask for something that, like, it does really let you practice those skills that I think sometimes we hesitate to develop. We don't want to have the conversation. We don't want to be a bother. We don't want to inconvenience people for our preferences, right? Even though you're in a setting where that's what you do. You're going there to be served. Make sure you tip well, okay? Practice, okay? Practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes permanent. All right, so keep getting them reps in. And before we go, listen, I also want to tell y'all something, right? Incredibly exciting. All right, this Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, I am teaching my first class with this group that is 25,000 plus members called Black Girls in Trading. I am teaching them an intro to stock options class on Friday for free. All right, listen, y'all know me, y'all know I don't do free because I believe when you pay attention. But we are going to show up as an education partner with this amazing group. Their fearless leader, Shanika Fields, she's beautiful. And so we are partnering to add value and serve that community. So if you have been curious about trading, about options trading, about building another income stream, about wealth building, right? Many of our women have learned and are really good at working hard at making money. They're less equipped to learn how to preserve it and multiply it. So if that is where you are, listen, pop on over. I would love for you to for me to teach you how to understand this, how to read the markets, how to read the chart. Again, the class is free. So if you've been waiting, this is your perfect moment to stop saying, when I'm ready, I'm not ready yet. Okay, come on through and just say, I'm here, I'm showing up, and I can trust myself with what happens. All right, so it's free this Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're running that class. And then, of course, just a few weeks later, y'all, we going to do Wealthy and Worthy in Atlanta. I'm so excited for our community. We're going to be gathering. If you have been thinking about joining us, maybe this conversation was your answer. All right, go and grab your ticket, wealthyworthy.org, to reserve your seat. And if you've been watching live, drop ready in the comments and we will send you the deets. All right. So as always, thanks for spending part of your Wednesday with us. We are so excited to be in community with y'all, and we will see y'all next Wednesday, same place, same time. Bye.